Why, hello there. This is DJartt of the High Score 510 podcast. First of all, I would like to thank you for listening to our show. Second of all, I want to remind you with a shameless plug of our Patreon page. Join our growing community and help support an indie podcast. The perks of being a patron, you ask? Number 1, you'll get our weekly quick hitters. Number 2, you'll get feature conversations that are too hot for our regular show. And number 3, we cannot leave out number 3. Why, Jesus will bless you. So go check out patreon.com/highscore510. And for the price of a tall pumpkin spice latte, you can help DJartt get the newest choker from Claire. Wait, who wrote this? Who wrote this? Seriously. That's fucked up, man. This isn't a choker. It's real pearls, bitch. Regardless of which, we appreciate your support and hope you enjoy the show.
Twerking is acceptable at the strip clubs or any black church where the preacher's got a lot of money. If the preacher drives a Rolls Royce, it's okay to twerk in that church. Because obviously they worshiping white Jesus, which gives you that freedom to repent on Monday and Sunday. Saturday, you sin. And when I was an usher at Joel Osteen's church, it's like, please don't bring that black stuff in here.
I used to say that at the door.
I said that right at the door before I say, hey, all that hollering, hooping, and praying in tongues, we don't do that.
We don't do that here. Joel is the center of attention here, not you.
Exactly. You see how beautiful Joel Osteen is?
You sit in that chair. You want to know the black people that sit in the front row? Because they quiet. Not you. Not you. You in the back. When we say applaud, that's when you get a little loud, not all that loud.
Oh, all right, I'm out of this conversation.
Ain't no usher here. Ain't no Holy Ghost dancing. We don't do that here. The only time I got the Holy Ghost in me like that, Michael, was the first time I laid with a woman. I called my mom. I ain't tell her what I did, but I called her. Jerry, you missed some online play. Kevin, Jackson, me, Pedro. And how'd you guys do when I got off, Pedro?
You got to win at 2:30 or 1:30 your time.
Damn. 12:30 at night? Who was it?
Against a juggernaut.
Who was it?
It was me, Jose, Kevin, and Chris.
Okay.
And I told him,
you played Jackson.
We was balling. I said,
well, one of those games, I don't know if you realize, one of those games that we played, did you see how many kills we had?
Is that the one we finished 17th? We didn't finish.
We finished like 17. We didn't finish well, but we had like the combined 25 kills.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did we finish so low?
You remember what Eddie Murphy said in Harlem Nights? It's not how many people you shoot, it's who you shoot.
Well, that was a game. It was funny because we were scrambling that whole game. It wasn't even like it was we were balling at one point, but we kept putting people down.
No, we had a juggernaut in between TV station in downtown, where the stadium and we was on a bank where Big Blue is. We had high ground on everybody, and Chris and Kevin were just picking people off with sniper rifles, and I was shooting the juggernaut with the RPG. You end up having to come around. We ambushed him.
I don't know where Brandon is.
Probably made him mad. I don't know why you acted like you didn't do something.
I didn't make him mad. I didn't make him mad. If he got mad over that, he set himself up for that. Trying to tell me I owe LeVar Ball an apology. All right, well, y'all ready to start the show?
I'm ready to start. I've been ready. Oh, let me look at my
start.
Notes.
Yeah, I got to do my introduction, and then I'll be back on. I'll do most of the show driving, I guess.
They got you working today?
I thought they fired you, and you just was lying, talking about you have the day off all these weeks.
Man, I couldn't get fired if I wanted to this month.
Oh,
you drove a truck off of the train? Can you get back and get the next one? Can you skip the hospital visit and get back and get the other one? That literally happened. I kid you not.
Oh shit, that's crazy. All right, well, Michael, I need a letter.
I've been thinking about this one. I'm gonna have to say your favorite letter, N.
N. Oh.
I like your reasoning where you came with it. Yeah.
Brandon wants us to, use a lot fewer words that start with the letter N. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea, but Nancy Reagan, Negroes, nincompoops, nuance, non-violent, nostalgic niggas. Sorry, I had to say it. I couldn't hold it back.
I like the pause.
I was trying not to do it, and then I couldn't help myself. It just came out. So, Anyways,
taking tests and stuff, learning how to say nigga.
Oh, there it is.
Working now.
There it goes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us at High Score 510 on the Instagram, the YouTube, and look for Hipster Horcrux on the Twitter. You can also email the show at highscore510.fans@gmail.com and check us out on our Patreon page if you want to get exclusive content, including our quick hitters, and just support our independent podcast so that we don't have to worry about sponsors quite as much, even though we still are looking for a sponsor. Anyways, our Patreon page is patreon.com/highscore510. So check it out for all our exclusive content. We are here with...
This is Aaron Grayson, also known as AG3. I'm coming at you faster than Mel Gibson in Conspiracy Theory. That's because I've been working real hard, people, and that's right. Before the year's over, I will prove how Drake is one of the executive members of the Proud Boys. True story.
Aubrey Graham in the wheelchair. Drake!
Yes!
Y'all niggas better stop playing with me in here. Y'all talking about the light-skinned nigga from DeGeneres?
And we are here with...
Hello, everybody. It's your friendly truck driving captain, Captain P Funk, and I'm coming at you faster than Keisha Cole that can't sing. All she do is holler. Versus that.
I agree.
Ooh, baby, I got Popeyes.
He said Negro.
Maybe they could do a versus, like one of these verses with him and what was that white dude in blackface that used to do all the tap dancing back in the day, and just have them do a versus battle. Him singing about Popeyes and the white dude and what was it? You know which white dude I'm talking about? Always the dancer. Was it Fred Astaire or somebody? I don't know. I'll figure out before the show over, but that should be the next versus battle. The Popeyes singing and him.
And we're here with our guest today. Our guest, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Money Mike. I am coming at you faster than the white around Jared's lips.
That's coming fast.
We got a box full of fries. The Cajun and spice. Oh.
I forgot.
I
Got
Tell me
that
there
on
was more than one verse.
So,
I can dig that.
If you studied it, he's on Instagram. He's I guess one of them Instagram singers or whatever. I found out I was going to send that to Jared, but I didn't know he sung that had a second verse to that song.
Dude, he had a whole thing. He had a whole thing.
No.
Y'all didn't know.
I didn't know that.
I went and found it, and it was like a minute long. He sang about everything he had in his goddamn bag.
He didn't sing about the hot sauce in his bag.
You talk about choking on the biscuit too?
We got no biscuits after the fries.
He talked about a biscuit. Where's he from?
Well, did he have the honey on it at least?
He didn't talk about the honey. He didn't mention the honey.
Imitation honey.
Dude. Anyways, my name is Jared, aka DJartt, with 2 T's for a double dose of that tink tink. The D is silent, so it's just Jart. And here's my sound bite real quick, or it's not really a sound bite, but I'm gonna just share this because I love if you know me, I love beautiful white women and beautiful white women that stand up to the man.
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by
That
30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
And
That poll book, why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
Boy, she just illegitimized all black people.
So did you read where she, like, the charges got dropped or something happened? She was under investigation or got arrested because she sent her ex-husband's new, like, wife porn, and then she made a false claim. She made a false claim. She got arrested with a different name, which is crazy, and she made a false claim that the ex-wife stole it from him. But then they found out through the research that she sent it to the ex-wife and tried to set her up.
I didn't know the whole
she was
story,
in
but I know that she was sending, I guess, a sex tape.
It was sex tapes of her and her ex-husband.
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know what I
saying
saw.
That they're filling in.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Okay. Did you?
I mean, when Giuliani tried to stop her at one point, you knew it was all bad. He tried to stop her a couple of times. You knew it was bad. He's like, look, do you realize the outrageous shit that I've said in the past 3 weeks, and I'm still trying to hush you up?
I don't know what world we in, but I have never seen any acting like this at the top level. I mean, of course, at least they used to do it with a lot of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people backing them. Now they just sound absolutely goofy. It is hilarious.
So I kind of would almost, I guess I don't really rather it be the other way around, which is like they just have people that just disappear you and they just have murder squads that'll come kill people. Like I'm glad we've advanced beyond that and that Trump don't got the power just to have murder squads out here making people disappear. Instead, he getting these.
I'm not sure about that. Did you see how some of these Republican senators be acting? It's like, oh yeah, sure. I'm not saying that he won the election, but he won the election. But I'm not saying it. That dude from Oklahoma, I'm like, what does he have on you for you to lie like that? Dude, he won your state, so why are you even in the conversation? That's what had me puzzled.
There's some going on. There's some weird stuff going on, but at least it's like a good, really bad reality show, like a really terrible TV show. So I don't know. There's the rationale going around is like watching these people like in Big Brother or something like that, or like Real World Road Rules Challenge or something like that. So
hey man, those are some of the greatest shows. Man,
those shows beyond hit, man. They beyond hit. They're terrible for our society, but they are hit. They are entertaining. Anyways, well, we're here with Mike. Mike, you want to tell us a little about yourself and, you know what I'm saying, what it is you do, or just, you know, what is your background with sports also?
You know, I don't know if I can go into detail about that because they might find me.
I know exactly what you're talking about with that, Mike, but I'll explain that later. I've been wrestling with that all week. I'll explain it later. Keep going, Mike.
Well, yeah. So what's your background in sports? Where are you from?
I am from Middle Tennessee. Don't want to specify where, but, you know, to go on, my background in sports, like I've mainly focused, you know, I tried to go the athletics route and do that collegiate athletics, but decided to pivot and change paths and try to go more the recreation side of things. So I've done stuff with some veterans, done stuff with, you know, kids with disabilities, people with disabilities, and but also just regular club level sports. So, yeah.
Okay. So you helping out with recreational sports in the community, getting kids and veterans and students, you know, opportunities to play different sports. What is the one activity or sport that you've had the most fun helping organize?
I say wheelchair basketball.
Mm-hmm. What was like your introduction to even getting into that or helping organize that?
You know, when I was in grad school, they had a tournament on our campus, and I just volunteered for it, and I got involved with that. You know, there's people that don't have any disabilities at all that play, and then there's some of the people that do. And then I just saw how competitive it was, and I was like, man, this is actually pretty dope. So I just, you know, I kind of enjoyed trying to start that up in the area that I'm in right now.
Have you played wheelchair basketball at all? Have you tried it out?
I have not, but I mean, man, they go hard out there. So I don't know. I'm be kind of skeptical about getting out there with them. So.
Well, you remember Tori from camps?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about like they they gave him a chance to strap in and actually try it. And he's like, that's just pretty fun, but it's pretty gangster. So apparently, you know, it's collisions and I'm always worried I'm gonna get my fingers caught up in the spokes or something like that. So I was always afraid to try it out just for fun, as people were like trying to get people to understand what you got to do to be a part of that sport. But anyways, Aaron, you had a question?
Yeah, Mike, you ever done little people basketball?
What is that?
You know, little people, like what people used to unpolitically correct called, you know, small people, midgets, the things back in the day. You specialize in that?
I have not done that.
If you did do that, would you change the rules if they were playing a celebrity game, kind of a celebrity fundraiser game where the high school kids can't get a rebound to the ball hit the court?
You know, I don't know. I don't know how I would go about it. You know, that's.
You ever seen Bad Santa?
No.
You never seen Bad Santa? What movie? What else was he in, Jared?
He's one of the main black little person actors that you might have seen like in the 90s and early 2000s, throughout the early mid 2000s.
Yeah, his name is TC something. So we played against him in high school, and they had a rule we couldn't get a rebound to the ball hit the ground. I just thought he had more swag, and you know, I thought that was unfair. It was all about equality, right, Mike? How do you teach equality if I can't get a rebound to it hit the ground?
Aaron's still holding on to that story.
I know, right? He looks bad.
Dude, they was catching it before it hit the ground. Like they would run under it. So it was like it was very few rebounds to get.
In news, True Kitchen and Cocktails in Dallas is under fire after the owner came out with a rant against women twerking. It was not twerking in his restaurant. Here's the video.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a... Come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
I mean, you know, I kind of agree with him. I mean, it's his restaurant, his choice to how he wanted to go with it. I understand where he was coming from. I totally understand. Like he's trying to build a little bit more class restaurant, right? Probably could have said it a little differently. It would have come off a little better. I think that's the main thing. Like I would have probably just not yell at people who are patron the restaurant right now. Not curse them out at the end. That was the whole thing. I was like, you didn't have to curse them out. Like, I think it would have been more well received if he came out with the same, you know, his whole reason. Like, hey, man, I started this restaurant for us so we can have nice food and can eat nice things and do this. And I'm not a fan of the twerking. I'm trying to have a class up place, right? I'm not a fan of it here. There's other places for it. I mean, he did have a DJ too. I mean, that's part of the reason. I mean, maybe it was, you know, he's caught in a hard place, right? Like he's trying to have a place that he's trying to welcome his African-American patrons, right? And try to make them feel comfortable and have the DJ and the music, but then he doesn't want the twerking, which I could totally understand. The message was great. Just how he delivered it could have possibly been better.
So wait a minute. You called it patrons? Is that what you said?
The people who coming in, buying the food or eating.
Man, you gotta give him a match going for that one.
What is it? Patrons.
Anyways, Mike, so what's your take on this situation and the way he handled it?
Man, like I had saw it coming across Twitter because like I went to grad school in Texas, so I had some people who live in Dallas and the Houston area talking about it. And I was like, you know, how the cancel culture and, you know, everybody's talking about how it's canceled now. But I mean, if that's what he wanted to do, if that's, you know, how he wanted to go about it, I mean, so be it, I guess. But, you know, honestly, I'll be going in there twerking for the fun of it. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Well, yeah, he came in. Well, I guess I saw a clip and he was talking. He was being interviewed about it afterwards, and he said he did kind of regret the language he used,
the way he
conveyed it, and I think what he said was that it sounded like he was frustrated because he had already asked the ladies to stop dancing on furniture, and that's what his focus on is the furniture, but they were twerking on the furniture. So then he focused on the thing that, like, obviously they just like they didn't listen the first time, so now I'm gonna call out what the bullshit it is that you're doing. But I did see a clip where there was a lady who was standing on a chair with her hands on a glass window or whatever, and she was dancing, and I think that was the final straw. But yeah, his language and sticking to what it is that is unacceptable, I think was really important, because he did say he did it for the culture. And so I guess that gets me to my next component of this conversation is like where does maybe twerking for you, not for the culture, not for everybody, but in your eyes, where does twerking fit into recognizable Black culture or a substantiated part of Black culture in current day context and in just Black culture in general context? Where does that fit in for you?
I'll let Mike go first on this one.
You know, my goodness, I don't know how I can associate myself with twerking, man. I just can't do it. You know, I would, like I said, if I were to go to this restaurant, I'd probably do it out of spite. But in general, my feelings about twerking in general, I'm not just busting out and doing it. Like, you know, I feel like it's kind of raunchy, just a little bit. I know it's for the culture. Everybody likes to, you know, do that kind of thing. But hey, teach his own. Like, you know, for me, I'm not a huge fan of it. But hey, if you want to do it, go ahead.
If somebody came in your house though, Mike, and you was having like a nice dinner with some friends, and you guys were maybe popping a bottle here and there, and you guys just having a good time. It's like a birthday barbecue or a cookout. Sorry, Mike, a birthday cookout, or just like a nice, celebratory dinner amongst friends. And somebody starts standing on your chair or your furniture and twerking on it. Would you, tell them to get down the way he did, or would you allow them just continue to twerk, or do you just not associate with people who would do that?
For one, I don't associate people who would come up in my house and do that. But if somebody were to, I would probably push them off that furniture and be like, you can't be doing that up in here, man. Go up and do that in your own house.
If they were standing up, maybe they were trying to reach a cobweb and clear a cobweb off the ceiling or something like that. Like maybe they
ain't doing all that.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron, what would you do, or how do you associate twerking with the culture?
That's why I said I'm gonna let Mike go first, because maybe it's my age. And it has nothing to do because I'm a single person, right? So it has nothing to do with like anything like that. I just I don't get the joy out of twerking, right? And this is coming from a guy who's single, a lot more in his life than he's been in relationships, and have fun at some adult entertainment places, things like that. I don't understand how this is exciting, right? Just someone sitting there shaking their ass, right? Like, I mean, is there going to be more? Something else happen? I'm waiting for like part 2, right? Like something else going to happen, right? It's just
Aaron's like, to watch. I am a connoisseur of adult videos. This ain't doing it.
I'm supposed to watch this for 22 minutes, 25 minutes, 8 minutes of dance. But no, but that's not it. But as far as Black culture, twerking is a weird obsession right now. I would have to say reaction as the owner, but handle it in a different way, because it was just, I'm like the same way. Like, look, man, we're at a restaurant, dude, right? Like, I'll be okay with dancing and things like that, but don't be hopping up on my furniture. Like, what are you looking to get out of this?
Yeah. Well, maybe my thing is like, you doing something right. That you got, like, when a kid eats something that they really like and they start dancing while they're eating, they say, I'm eating this rib, or this ice cream hella good. Like you sent that woman to a place where she's dancing now because she's enjoying her time.
No, it wasn't the food. Good food wasn't the food.
It was no food.
Or the environment, man. It was the music that they were playing up in there, and then they felt the need to get up on whatever kind of furniture it was and start throwing that thing everywhere.
Exactly, man. It had nothing to do with the food,
Man.
and being that excited to have. I mean, look, there's other ways to dance, dude. Like, what is this? Is there no other ways to dance?
I think Miley Cyrus done made twerking appropriate everywhere.
No, she tried to. It didn't work.
I would have just been like, I appreciate that you really enjoy the food and the environment, but like this is not the zone to twerk. Put on some Teddy Pendergrass. We're gonna put on some Luther Vandross. We might put on a little bit of like, who's like a real corny brother that sing like some
anybody in your CD collection, dude?
Some Sam Cooke.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna say though, that was a pretty packed place too, though.
It was. They had no mask on.
That's Dallas. Not one person had a mask.
It's a restaurant, so I mean,
not one person had a mask. It was indoors. People were sitting back to back. The booths were back to back full of people.
Right.
There's a lot of things wrong with everything. One, he had a DJ. What did he expect? He should have talked to the DJ about the music played too. I think his expectations was too high of people.
I can see that.
He might be working at Popeyes in the next 6 months, and not because of the virus. Then he got to worry about people walking out singing as soon as he get him a bag of food. That's what he got to worry about there.
He should have came out and been like,
"We got no biscuits after the fries." Oh,
yeah. He had that woman up on top of her table talking about,
"We gonna open up the bag and see that we got some rice and beans." Woo!
Where's Reggie White when I need him? Where's Reggie White when I need him? I mean, just live. You talk about living up a stereotype right there. It's like, what's better, being cheesy and corny or living up a stereotype, right? And then sometimes you get both, and then out comes Drake.
What did I miss?
Yes, I was waiting on it. The Hamilton soundbite. Go ahead and play it.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
Siphiwe Baleka, formerly known as Tony Blake, is attempting to become a 50-year-old Olympian. He broke barriers as a black swimmer at Yale and was an all Ivy League swimmer, and is attempting to make the Tokyo 2021 games now, since the 2020 games got postponed to 2021. He's attempting to make the Olympic team at the age of 50. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's a great thing. I think, as a guy is very, very much, self-created. He was a truck driver, graduated from Yale, became a truck driver, wrote a book, 4 Minute Fit, getting fit by exercising 4 minutes a day, especially for truckers. Him knowing how that life is and that lifestyle is. It was a very uplifting story when I read it on Sports Illustrated, when I first saw it on SI.com. And I was like, wow, this is very uplifting, and the fact that who he is. And it was inspiring. I suggest people look him up, look up the SI article, look up who he is,
My thing is, like, I'm all for him, like, trying to pursue this dream. Like, hey, I'm not going to talk anybody out of pursuing what they want to do.
Yeah.
But how do you go to Yale and then drive trucks, man? Like, like that is my question. How do you go from that to that?
Well, see, I was wondering. Pedro asked a question like, did he own his own trucking company or something, right?
Oh, okay.
Maybe he owned like a few trucks or a small company and he drove.
No, he was working for one of the major trucking companies. They said he's based out of Missouri, and that it was one of the largest, fleets companies in the country. So they had him driving anywhere from like down to Florida up the East Coast. Apparently, it sounded like. But it is kind of an interesting, reason why he would get into trucking. Maybe he was like really into trucks as a kid. Maybe he just enjoys being on the road and just being kind of in that solitary trucker lifestyle. Sans the poor eating habits and the obesity that seems to plague the trucking community. From what they were saying in the article. But yeah, man, I was like, he went to Yale and then left school early so that he could pursue something that he thought he wasn't getting at Yale.
Well, and that's what I thought. Maybe because it said he left school early. So I thought maybe he ran out of money, couldn't afford school no more. So he jumped into trucking. I mean, I know how hard it was for me going through school, especially my last year of school. It was one of the things that kept me out of grad school because I was so hungry. Even though I worked 3 jobs my last year to try to just, to pay off school. And one of the jobs gave me a partial scholarship. So, but I knew how hard it was. So I thought maybe that was the reason he, dropped out and started doing trucking. And so I don't know. I was trying to find the positives behind even that move.
Mm-hmm. But it's just crazy that now, being caught up maybe in that hyper, competitive mentality of Ivy League school, swimming culture in general, to be caught up in that world where he was able maybe to step away and get the clarity he needed to be able to say, shit, I can keep doing this and I'm gonna go for it at 50. But if he didn't think he could make it at 25, I'm trying to figure out what transformation in his mind made him feel like, I could do this at 50. And then I realized in the article, it said that he's going to be trying to compete for Guinea-Bissau, a West African country. So that made a lot more sense to me. I was like, okay.
Well, yeah. Well, I also give him a lot of credit, Jared, because he ain't trying to buck the system like your girl Megan Sweeney.
No, not Megan Sweeney.
Allison Sweeney. Is that
Shout
her
out
name?
Damn it, Aaron. We got to give you a magic moment for that, man.
No, I can't magic moment for me not remembering some non-athlete.
You throwing all kinds of people's names under the bus right now. You just threw 2 different people. You just threw 2 different people under the bus.
Sorry, Megan.
One of them that I know. The other one I don't know who it is.
What was her name? Give me my magic moment so I get her real name.
Her name was Elizabeth Sweeney.
Elizabeth Sweeney, then.
It's Sweeney also. It's not
Sweeney. Well, at least he's trying to work and actually make it in the sport, and not just trying to skirt the rules and find some country that don't have snow where she could qualify for the Winter Olympics. This was his dream. This is what he pushed for. And I know it was probably hard because think about it. He was already removed from being able to swim and train at a high level, probably when he was no longer at Yale. And those Ivy Leagues don't give scholarships. So he might've been, like I said, paying his own way. I like the story. It sucks that Pedro not here to talk about the trucking side, the other side of trucking, when you're eating all those Big Macs and Charles Jr.
Well, we have some fan mail. The article was initially sent to me by RCO2. Question from RCO2 is, what Olympic sport would you like to compete in? And what Olympic sport do you think you'd actually be able to compete in given 1 year to train? And which country would you choose to compete for based upon your genetic heritage to increase your chances of making that qualification, AKA one Miss Elizabeth Sweeney?
So I was gonna say we going full Caitlin Sweeney right now, aren't we?
Come on, you said another day, bro. Rebecca Sweeney.
That's basically.
But yeah. So, what sport do you think, if you had a chance to train for a year, could you make it into a Olympics with?
I was looking through the list, and there's some pretty interesting sports in here. Got equestrian. Handball.
Hey man, you go out there and look like your boy Django if you do equestrian, bro. Like a young Jamie Foxx.
Trampoline, what is that? But and they even got skateboarding in there now. That's crazy to me. But I was looking at the winter sports. I was like, I've always felt as if I lived near a ski resort and I had a year to train, I would probably make it in snowboarding. That is one of the winter sports.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know what events that I would compete in, but I would feel like I could probably rock with some snowboarding.
All right. Aaron, what is the sport that you would go for?
There's a lot that came to mind. Equestrian's one because I really do love horseback riding. Don't do it enough. And then I thought about the other sports, like Mike went over the list of the newer sports, just trying to make sure we just giving medals away like they participation trophies now, I see. And so when I saw skateboard and trampoline, I'm like, trampoline, right? And so I was trying to think, and I was like, man, what would I be able to do? where I would really enjoy my time at the Olympics. I thought about archery because Jared, you know, I'm into archery, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I came to the conclusion. I realized, like, if I'm over there and I'm in the Olympics, I'm gonna take advantage of that Olympic Village, right? That I want a sport.
Oh my goodness! Of course,
Mike. I'm telling you, man. I want to get back to Olympic Village full rest up. I don't want to worry about no hamstring injury, no groin injury. I don't want nothing slowing me down in that Olympic Village. I want to be, you know, we could take some of the stories of Ryan Lochte, whatever his name is, right? And everyone else
isn't it pronounced Lochte?
Lochte, whoever else all went crazy during the Olympic Village, and I'm trying to rival it, right? I'm trying to be the Hugh Hefner and Magic Johnson of the Olympic Village, right? That's how I'm trying to leave the Olympics. I thought about what sport will I be able to do that, where I could just don't have to worry about anything, and I figured out shooting. I would do the shooting sports. The pistol, rifle, I don't know. You can put me in all of them. It don't matter. I get to hang out in the sun, you know, get a little brown, get my skin a little more browner, you know, look like I've been in the sun, smile the whole time. I ain't using no physical exertion, and I'm in. And what country would I choose? My country, I chose my country by what is either has to be one of the most peaceful countries in the world, right? Like a country with low expectations, and I ain't got to worry about someone shooting me or being mad. So I went off of that list. So it's either going to be Iceland or Switzerland. So, people can't get mad at me. That's right, pups. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. You know the plan.
Your dog's calling Cap.
Man, she know what I'm trying to do. She know. Look, my whole idea: go shoot a couple of clay pigeons and go back to the Olympic Village. You hear about the soccer teams dropping out the World Cup, talking about holding out a game in the World Cup or Olympics because they ain't got paid, and some of the African Federation soccer clubs ain't paid them. Or you hear about like people scared to go back to their country, and we got locked up in prison. Our goal was to win gold. Not when you in Switzerland. Hey, if I don't win, guess what? I come back, they probably give me a bowl of some nice fondue with some chocolate to eat, right? And they're gonna ask, Aaron, could you have worked harder? I couldn't work any harder than I did at the Olympic Village. That's what I'm gonna say.
I lost 15 pounds. I was working out so much.
Exactly. You don't know how many times the Holy Ghost ran through me at the Olympic Village. You don't know how many times.
I ran up a phone bill, called my mama.
Exactly. There were nights when not only I was speaking in tongues, but the person I was with who was not Christian was speaking in tongues too. That Olympic Village wouldn't be the same. They would have to retire. They would have to burn some sheets before I'm done. Burn some sheets.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, I guess the sport that I would do, it says that sled dog racing is now a sport in the Winter Olympics.
God.
And I would choose Winter Olympics because it has the highest per capita beautiful white women there. So it would allow me to meet as many of those beautiful snow bunnies. And we want to stay warm. So we would make sure that we cuddled, snuggled, and romanticized each other with some hot cocoa, maybe a pumpkin spice latte. Yeah, sled dog racing.
Some of them countries ain't never had no pumpkin spice latte.
and then I can get my Cuba Gooding Jr. on as snow dogs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like, hey man, if Cuba Gooding Jr. could do this, I could do it. So, you know, sled dog racing, that would be kind of tight, man.
I wouldn't be against that if you could get the woman he got at the end of that like Filipino girl woman. Oh man.
Oh, she was supposed to be Native American though. She was supposed to be Alaskan.
She was supposed to be like Alaskan. She was straight Filipino, dude.
If I could have her too.
She was Hollywood Alaskan, you know. It's like, hey man, hey, we need a real Alaskan like Eskimo. Find a Filipino down the street.
It's like we need some people to play Vietnamese in this Vietnam War movie. Find some Filipinos.
Go to UCLA or UC Irvine, you'll find one.
My second option would be playing handball for China, because I would probably be like a power forward for them. And handball, man, I got skills in handball.
I ain't gonna be a power forward, man. It's some tall and kind of big Chinese people, man.
Yeah, there are, but they play in basketball, bro. Handball, you don't need the height the same way.
Okay, that's true.
For me, man, I'll be out there crossing fools over. I'm like, bah, 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 bah. Boxing news. The Tyson Jones pay-per-view reached over 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. It is more than the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury 2 fight. And the last time a boxing match pay-per-view went over 1 million buys was the Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez. That was a few years ago. I guess my question is boxing back?
My thing is, I feel like it's dying, man. They have to use these random, celebrities to generate interest. Like, look, I just literally got a DM from one of my friends who sent me a tweet talking about that there's a Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight in February going on next year. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, Logan Paul has no business fighting Mayweather, none. But people gonna pay to see it just because.
Is that breaking news, Mike? Did you just break news on the show?
Yes. Like, it literally came out like a couple hours ago.
Is that real news or Black Twitter news?
This is real. He even posted on his Instagram.
Wait, who posted Mayweather?
Yes, it's a special exhibition.
Man, he ain't smart enough to write anything to be posted on his Instagram, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's on there. It 1 hour ago, it came across the time.
Probably that fine Filipino woman that works as his personal assistant probably put it on there. He do got a fine Filipino woman as personal assistant.
Does she do all the reading for him too?
Man, she got to, because he can't read for shit. If his kid went missing, he wouldn't be able to know by reading the back of a milk carton with his kid face on it. He'd just think, oh,
this looks like my kid.
My kid represents milk now. He'd be thinking his kid got an endorsement. Kid been missing for 8 months. He wouldn't know. He's so damn ignorant. That man can't read for shit. He couldn't read to save his life. He don't even know his gloves say Everlast on it. He's so ignorant of reading. He thought one of them said his dad's name and the other one said his uncle's name. Same fucking word. He thought they were two different words. That's how ignorant Floyd Mayweather is.
Well, you look at him
I
like
want to
this,
see. I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul in a spelling contest. That would be more pleasing to me. That'll be entertaining. Bring him and maybe somebody's been living in a cave in Siberia and have him try to spell English and see if Mayweather could beat the person using English words only. I bet you that would be a close contest.
It's like you put him on a game of Wheel of Fortune.
Put him on Wheel of Fortune with someone like some 80-year-old Thai person who never left Thailand, who only knows Thai, don't even know how to read that numeral like that. I bet you he'll still lose.
You put him and Tyrese on there and have Tyrese doing a Russian word and he's doing English.
Exactly. Tyrese know more Russian than Floyd Mayweather know English. That's the problem. Tyrese know more Russian than Floyd Mayweather know English.
Hey, well, breaking news. Logan Paul will be fighting Floyd Mayweather. So we have another celebrity style match. There's not going to be any belts on the line. It's going to be another exhibition type match again.
Mm-hmm. No judges.
Yeah, it's just like we got celebrity judges that don't count.
That's off-site. That was a damn lie. They off-site right now. That's the same lie I'll be using, man. Hey, I got someone here to review they're going to give me a performance review. They just not here right now. Don't worry. I take care of my own performance review. I got someone that's going to do it.
If they have Snoop Dogg commentating, I might buy it.
I agree with you, Mike. I think boxing is dying. It's been dying. And the fact that you have to do these gimmicks. And I think boxing has always had a certain showmanship and a certain kind of circus around it. It trafficked in, a race a lot. That was a big part of it. The fact that the promoters control the sport and whatever they got to do to get people to want to come see it, whether it was they had a horse carrying somebody to the ring or like your boy Tyson Fury had 4 women that all look like Gal Gadot's stunt doubles carrying him to the ring last time, fake carrying him to the ring, regardless.
It was fake.
Yeah, one of them was holding it like this. I'm like, bitch, you gonna tear your arm? He's no way that strong. But now it's like these are the things that are actually setting benchmarks or are holding the flame for the sport currently, which is, I think, a really, really bad thing for a sport. If you want to have it legitimized and you want it to continue to thrive, I don't know that it's back, but I think we're in an era in time where any publicity is good publicity for the most part. Yeah, it's really no bad publicity once you get to a certain level, because you can always manipulate it to, if you're willing to manipulate into finding new avenues of income and money.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where they're at. They are trying to reincarnate themselves. Like, well, did I say that right? Reincarnate. Like,
yeah.
They're really trying to recreate,
mm-hmm.
Some sort of, I guess, new way of doing it. Because it's nowhere near like how it used to be. Like it's nowhere near as popular as what it used to be. And then so now they have to do something else to make up for what they have missed out on. And so like this is how they able to generate revenue. So hey,
Yeah.
like I said, I respect the hustle.
Yeah, they gotta respect the hustle. Look, another crazy part, real quick, and then I'll go to Aaron. Is that like when you think about it, like they had to use the shine of Jake Paul fighting an former NBA player as one of the ways to kind of push it, but like that wasn't the main thing. Everyone knew it was just Tyson versus Jones, but they were living off the shine, the glimmering hope. Like Mike Tyson was the star back in the 80s and 90s, right? Mm-hmm. And his fights were huge. Like people would get mad, but they would still buy his pay-per-views, even though they knew he was probably gonna knock the dude out in the first 2-3 rounds, right? They would still buy the pay-per-views when pay-per-views became big in the 90s, and people felt cheated, but they bought the next one and they bought the next one. And it's kind of like that thing where like, a star in the distance, like the light we see from a distant star travels light years. So whatever this light we're seeing now happened however many years ago. If that's the biggest selling thing in boxing in the last 2, 3, 4 years, is this distant star's final emissions of light, what does that really say about what your product is?
Exactly.
So it's really it's
going downhill.
It's going down.
Well, see, it's one of those funny things. I was arguing with your boy Sam Johnson, as Jarrett calls him, Juicy Mouth Johnson.
Juicy Mouth Johnson.
What happens when a sport dies, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were arguing over MMA, which I was saying it's not dying. MMA is not close to dying yet, but it's already hit its peak, right? I feel like it's at its peak. And I said, listen, when a sport dies, it doesn't necessarily go away, right? Like it's not like it doesn't exist or doesn't happen anymore. It just changes how it's viewed and how many people view it as and see it as. Like horse racing. If you think about it, like by 1930s, horse racing was still like bigger than baseball, right? By the 40s, even if like when my dad was growing up, like he's not a big horse race person either, but it was the big thing. That's why there was tracks in every state, and it really died. It doesn't go away. I think boxing is at that point where it's, I think it's on the machine that's beep, beep, beep. I think that pulse is low, right? Like
it's on life support right now. Like,
it's on life support. Like the machine is keeping alive. As soon as we unplug it, as soon as Mayweather and the people that we wish to see fight celebrities go away, because after a while, you become a joke when people are only watching celebrities box other celebrities. Why am I sitting here watching a basketball player fight a baseball player, right? Like, why do I care about this? So I feel like boxing is, like you said, it's on life support, and it's trying to inject everything into it. Celebrity versus Mayweather, celebrity versus NBA, rappers, things that they would have never done in the past. Rappers commentating, and hey, balls loose, curse all you want. Right? Say it. We need whatever you can to keep people off this screen. Keep people coming back. And the sad part, when Snoop was the best thing about the fight, when Snoop or a basketball player who had no business fighting get knocked out is the best things about the fight, the memes was the most entertaining. And let me tell you this, when I watched the Super Bowl last year, I didn't care about the memes, right? That Patrick Mahomes last quarter was all we talked about. We didn't talk about the memes. When I watched baseball World Series with the Dodgers, we talked about, did the manager blow it? We talked about the game, LeBron, the bubble, everything that happened. We ain't sitting here, but yeah, boxing is we looking at the last days of boxing.
Yeah,
and it's sad because I really love watching boxing growing up.
No, I love the sport and the art of boxing. I think it's something very unique and special. But I think that it's structure, and I think it's just like any other great, capitalist-driven structure. The empire, especially when it becomes about imperialism, it is eventually going to expand itself to the point where it can't sustain itself, and then it's going to collapse. And boxing, I think, overextended itself because it's got 25 different title belts that you can have. 25 like IBC, BBC, NBA, TNT, all these different. I'm like, why do we need all these different belts? BBW, WBC. You know what I'm saying? HNIC. So
SSBBW.
Come on, man.
Pedro is back. He's in the truck right now. It overexpanded itself. It overstretched itself for the interest of the promoter-driven component of it. The promoters owned the sport, basically. They dictated the sport. You had all these different states who had different athletic commissions that were just trying to in cahoots with the promoters to make it harder for fighters and give the power to the system. And it's falling apart now.
But I want to say this: those numbers are also misleading, Jarrett. Those numbers are very misleading because people are trapped in their houses. So more people had to buy the fight. You couldn't go out to your bars to watch it. You couldn't go out to your friend's house or like we used to do in the past. You know, how many people that's not related to, you know, Todd family was over there, right? Think about that. That's more people that had to buy the fight to be able to watch it. So those numbers are very misleading. It wasn't a boost because the sport is gaining some traction. It was a boost because we are all trapped in the house, right?
So what Aaron said, because we was going to purchase the fight just to be entertained. Me and my wife ain't been out in a long time. I haven't been able to see my girlfriend. It's a lot of things that's changed. So we have to make some adjustments, and people are right now just want to be entertained. Like the memes and all the stuff that came out after that, people make their own music. Nothing's regular. The purity of boxing is left a long time ago. Like you said, too many titles. It's watered down. People don't like to do anything regular no more. That's why I'm trying to bring regular back into our podcast. I want to have some type of regularity when we do, people like to try new things. So try Snoop Dogg, bring Snoop Dogg in your house while, you watch a fight by two people that have no business fight. This goes back to my point, #regular sex.
Also, Pedro, we just found out that Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight is set for next February.
Wait a minute, hold on. Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather? Are you serious?
It's going to happen. That is not regular. So it's going to counteract what it is that you were hoping for. But yeah, February 20th of next year, it will be happening.
That'll be a straight massacre. I'd rather him fight Conor McGregor. Maybe he'll get caught one. No, he's not going to get caught. I take that back.
He ain't going to hurt him.
He's too much. Yes, he's too much of a scientist. Floyd Mayweather's been boxing since he was 3 years old.
And he be getting hit by people that can hit a lot harder than whichever Paul that is. I don't know which Paul is it, Jerry, man. I don't even care what Paul it is. If he gonna fight a Paul, I'll be more interested if he fought against either Paul Walker or Paul Hogan. Let him fight Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee.
Paul Walker.
Let him get a knife in there.
Yeah, you don't understand. You didn't know Paul Walker was still alive?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Illuminati covered up his death.
Watch the video, you see the car slow down and he hops out backwards.
You see the trap door. There's a trap door. There's a manhole that was open and the seat dropped through it.
Just like Samuel Jackson did in Winter Soldier. He got out of the car that way, and then the drone missile hit the car. That's what really happened.
Hell, y'all don't give a shit about me. I'm a new sponge band.
That's the truth.
Shout out sponsorship. Shout out sponsorship from I got the franchise.
Shout out a sponsorship to Catcher in the Rye,
Fast and the Furious,
JD Salinger.
Fast and the Furious. Yeah, I can't think of it because that was funny.
NBA released their COVID rules, and they will be punishing players for breaking these rules with fines, suspensions, and potential other sanctions.
Loss of draft picks.
Loss of draft picks. Yeah, it's not like the draft picks really matter most times in the NBA, but it's like we got 2 rounds, and 90% of y'all ain't gonna be on the team in 2 years. It's like man, he's like, take the draft pick. Shit, it's like, we don't care.
Try to tell that to the GM of Oklahoma City.
Oh yeah, he got like 35 draft picks in the next 3 years, 5 years, something like that. My real question about it is, do you really think that these sanctions and proposed rules are really going to be followed by these star athletes?
Unless you recreated the bubble, there's no way for this to go well. Like I do not see this going well. Like, there's still going to be a lot of outbreaks and things like that. That's going to interfere with games and, might lead to some cancellations. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Even with the controlled environment of collegiate athletics, they are even having issues with it. So you asking people with money to like not do some of the things that that they can easily do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's going to be a hard thing to kind of police and try to crack down on. So we'll see how the NBA kind of follows through with this.
Jared, you missing the boat, man, because one of the major parts of the rules were not just the rules they put in place, but what they actually can't do, right? Can you imagine? So they can't go to any bars, lounges, or any place with live entertainment, game venues, public gyms, spas, public pools, large indoor gathering with more than 15 people. But let's key on one part: live entertainment. They basically telling those fools stay out the strip.
Can't go to the strip club, exactly.
You think that's gonna work for any of these fools?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, the strip clubs that James Harden was a stimulus package for are gonna probably be writing their local legislature to try and influence the NBA to ease up on these restrictions. But yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't see it working. Who do you guys think is gonna be the first person to break that protocol and then cause an outbreak or get suspended and be like the example that's set?
Somebody already broke it, I thought.
No, I don't know. I haven't heard about anybody else.
Somebody ended up missing practice so far because they broke protocol. It's a big name too.
James Harden?
Yep.
Yep.
I saw a picture of James Harden sitting at a white party with a bunch of beautiful women.
He was at Little Baby's party in Atlanta.
They weren't white women though.
He was at Little Baby's party in Atlanta. And so he had to skip out. He had to miss the first practice because of the rules. He was in.
He gave him the little bag with the honey buns in it with 100 bands in it, and like
James Harden. I want to know what percentage of his money went towards strippers, right? And just like, hey, dude, man, like, I mean, it's sad when you look at like his lifestyle. You think, man, why don't you just do what Paul George did? Right? Like, is that a good thing? When I say, man, if he would have probably saved money if he did like Paul George.
Just left Doc Rivers' daughter for a stripper?
Just get you a few women that you paying out and doing this and that. Not you can't. I mean, James Harden. I mean, he's like Santa Claus. I guess that's why he keeps his beard growing. That's why he's the beard, because he's like Santa Claus when you walk into that strip club. It's like Christmas morning to every stripper in there. They might as well just put a Christmas tree above every strip club whenever he walk into the town.
They got a little side table, milk and cookies for him.
This is why he can't leave Houston, because he got the right colors. He got the beard. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, maybe this is a way of trying to make them trade him, though. He's like, man, I'm just gonna keep going out, getting in trouble. I'm not gonna be able to play. I'm gonna mess up the rest of the team chemistry. You might as well just trade me where I want to go.
And his trade list is nothing but pages of Google Maps and strip clubs with the pins in them.
It's like, can you send me to the Atlanta Mud Dogs? I'll play for them.
It has to be one of these cities that got all these pins. If it ain't within 30 miles of all these pins, then don't trade me there. That's my no list. They're like, man, we worked out a trade. Go to Lakers. I told you it's a no list. So like 5 strip clubs in that city. I ain't trying to drive out to Industry City.
And then half of them are gentlemen's club where it's not full nudity.
Exactly. He's like, this ain't gonna work. He's
told like, you Portland, no. Maybe. Atlanta,
Portland,
maybe.
They're like, man, we got you set up. You could go to Lakers, Miami, Clippers. Nah, I told you. Stick to the Google Maps.
I think James Harden was in that restaurant when they was twerking.
That's what really started the twerking. It wasn't the music. James Harden started throwing up money around.
Oh, Santa's here. Get on the table.
Santa's here. We gonna be on a naughty list and we don't start twerking on this chair.
Is Aaron trying to twerk right now? Oh my goodness.
I was doing some Zoom twerking real quick.
Cutty Corner Shoutouts. Cutty Corner Shoutouts is a segment we end the show on. It's an opportunity for everyone to have the floor to say what's on their mind, talk about something that might be upsetting them, pissing them off, or highlight something positive that they want to, shed light on. So Cutty Corner Shoutouts. Cutty Corner Shoutouts.
It's time. We're burning now. God, if you listen, hell, so cold and bleeding now. I'm in for this, man. Gonna let you down. He had sex with my mama. We're broken people now. I just said I need a backyard.
Aaron, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
I do. This one goes out to Slam Magazine. Slam magazine used to come out every month. Now they're down to coming out once every 2 months. I mean, it's where the world is. We gone digital now. Magazines aren't important as they used to. When I was growing up, magazines was very important, newspapers and all that. Slam magazine, for those who don't know, was probably the first all basketball magazine. And, and despite my football and my love affair with football and my wanting everything football, basketball, when I started growing up, was my favorite sport. Like Curtis Blow once said, basketball was my favorite sport. I loved everything about it. And I loved watching NBC when the Round Boy Rumble started to play. That was one of my highlights. Before I became a football fanatic, I was all about basketball. And then I was realizing, like, when football started rising, what took me away from it? And I realized one of the things was Slam magazine. Slam magazine is the Maxim magazine of sports magazines. It's basically what Maxim magazine was to the magazine world. Like if you got a New Yorker and you got a Maxim, they two different places, right? If you had a Sports Illustrated, you had Slam, you basically had the Maxim magazine. It fueled the basketball world with opinions and overhyped narratives. It taught us to hype up the 8th and 9th man on the basketball team instead of treating them how we should have been treating them. We should be treating the 8th and 9th man person on the basketball team like a long snapper on an NFL team. They're important. You can't win without them. You need the better your 8th and 9th are, the better your team is. But how many people can name the long snapper from the last 10 years from their favorite football team?
I can.
Probably because you cursed them out, knowing you, Jared, at some point.
Because he's been there for 15 years.
Oh, okay. See, that helps. But he's good because you never hear his name called in the game. That's how we used to treat 8th and 9th men on basketball teams until Slam magazine came out. And here's the thing with Slam magazine. It had great writers. It had really respectable people, right? Scoop Jackson was a guy with a journalism degree. But then he joined Slam, and Slam magazine became this hip-hop magazine of basketball, and it just started overhyping. It made us believe that everybody who played in the NBA is great. It's because of Slam magazine, the reason why Brandon gets to go off on Jared and fight Jared and overhyping a guy that might make the cut or might not make the cut. Because Slam magazine told us, man, if they play in the NBA, if they shortcut that NBA logo on them, you treat them. There's Jordan, there's this tier, and then there's everybody else who's just as high, who's better than anybody else in the world, because this is Slam magazine and I'm Scoop Jackson. The magazine became a walking minstrel show, right? It stopped putting stats in it. Next thing I know, they're having a whole issue on one player in shoes. And it's like, okay, I mean, I like shoes. I like basketball shoes. But how are we going to have a whole issue on basketball shoes, on what the players are wearing for shoes? It overhyped everything. It created the capitalism of basketball. And it caught wind of it during the end of the Jordan era, during the rise of the next level of superstars, which it had enough, from Penny Hardaway to J. Kidd when he came out. It's because of Slam magazine that when I'm sitting here watching NBA free agency, like I'm listening to NBA podcasts. I got to listen to an hour-long podcast to tell me how Robert Covington is that great of a player, how Daniel House is that good, how JaMychal Green and Josh Richardson is going to really add to their new team they're going with, right? And how good that makes them. How now, man, and Josh Richardson back to Dallas, man, and James Johnson from Miami, man, this really puts Dallas over the top. I'm like, that's funny. Dallas looked like a damn 7 seed. They actually lost someone that knew how to shoot the ball. It overhyped people. We started coming up with new terms that didn't make sense, like 3-and-D. Man, he's a good 3-and-D guy. We used to have a name for 3-and-D guys in the late 80s and early 90s when I was watching basketball. It was called mediocre players. Not a guy that shoots barely 30% for the line. And the only reason he shoots 30%, because you make sure he don't shoot enough so it go lower. Because if he shot as many shots as Klay Thompson, that average going to be about 17, 15% from the three-point line. It's like, no, man, only shoot it when you super wide open, right? And then we going to call you a D guy. And then they keep talking about D. And every person they label a 3-and-D, I sit here and watch him, and I see him get lit up every night. We didn't hear Pippen being called a 3-and-D. We didn't hear Michael Cooper could shoot threes and play defense. He also averaged more than 12 points off the bench. The problem is the real 3-and-D guys are actually good. That's Klay Thompson. We thought Paul George was one. If he keeps playing like he played the last couple of years, he's on his way to being a 3-and-D guy like Wes Matthews, right? Exactly. Thank God for Slam Magazine, Chris Broussard, and all these people who create these terms like 3-and-D, because it keeps people getting paid, people who should be washing cars or playing for the minimum. You had one of the greatest episodes, one of the greatest magazines ever. You did top 100 players. Then you turn around and did it again. And guess what? It's no damn stat. They talking about when they do a little F-serve on the player, they talk about his shoes. I'm like, is this what make you a top player? The fact you had his shoes? Oh man, his Black History Month, his BHM Black History Month shoes from 2 years ago were one of the top sellers that year. Like I'm waiting to see like Elgin Baylor stats compared to like someone playing now stats, and they talking about Kyrie Irving's BHM shoes. I was
shout out to Bruce Bowen and PJ Tucker for being 3-and-D guys.
How is PJ Tucker 3-and-D?
Because he shoots threes and plays D.
He plays D on Anthony Davis.
Yeah, he plays D against anybody you tell him to play defense against.
You know what? We had a name for people like PJ Tucker too back in the 1800s. It was called slaves.
Michael, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
So my Cutty Corner shout out is, my Cutty Corner shout out is going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Man, where do I start? Like seeing the Titans make it to the AFC Championship game last season gave me hope. I was like, you know what? We might be contenders now. So, like I'm like, all right, so I'm watching the AFC Champ game. I see this glaring need for a pass rush because, like, my goodness, Pat Mahomes is back there, standing back there forever with so much time to throw the ball. And, like, I was like, oh, my goodness, man, we need to go get some defensive line. Like, somebody to rush the quarterback so we can, get off the field a little bit better on defense. All right, so in the offseason, they get rid of Logan Ryan, traded Jarrell Casey to Denver for a 7th rounder. And then they make room to go get Jadeveon Clowney and Vic Beasley. Vic Beasley got cut already this year. And Jadeveon Clowney just had season-ending surgery.
How many sacks did he have before he had that?
I don't know.
I think one or two.
I was called out by my friends for calling Jadeveon Clowney washed. Like, I was so dead on, like, all right, man, I saw the free agents, going to other teams and things like that. I'm like, well, shoot, like, come on, Clowney, let's just go ahead and just make this happen. Come on to the Titans to see what you can do. And then look what happens, man. So, and we just got carved up by the Cleveland Browns today. So I'm just hurt, man. It pains me to say this. Like, we are not contenders, man. We are just pretenders.
Pedro, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Not really, but I'll just do this one real quick. Hey, people, it's Christmas time, and I know everybody likes to shop, and I know you want to get the latest and greatest gifts, but you have to remind yourself that we are under COVID protocols, we're in a pandemic, and the jobs in the economy is not strong enough for you to go all out this year. Do not put it on credit. If you got credit, if you got cash and you can't get it on credit, don't buy it, because you will be in debt. We don't really know where things are going in the future. We got conspiracy theorists on the other side of the aisle. Just be careful with the money you got. Tell the kids Santa Claus is under quarantine. If you're Christian, tell them that white Jesus is going through the hospitals healing people right now. Don't go out there and spend a whole bunch of money. Just be safe and be careful.
Well, my Cutty Corner shout out goes out to the Trump administration and everyone who is supporting his charade and his continued very poor charade. Rudy Giuliani, any of the other senators and Republicans and whoever is supporting this. I found out this week that he spent $3 million. They spent $3 million on a Wisconsin recount. And after that recount, do you know that he ended up losing by more?
Isn't that the biggest L of history? Like,
I just want to say, man, you wasted $3 million. People are struggling, just like what Pedro was talking about with, don't put shit on credit. Like, things are tough right now. Jobs are scarce. Millions and millions of people are struggling to make ends meet, more so than what they normally are in our society, which is already a lot of people in the first place. And for you to be spending $3 million on a recount, and then for you to also then be creating a fund for people to donate, your supporters to donate, and you accrue over $200 million in donations My issue is that there's a lot of people struggling. There's a lot of people giving you money, which those motherfuckers, y'all get part of this Cutty Corner shout out too. Donate that shit. I'm not big on donations as the way to solve problems in this world. But when you have an opportunity and you have a choice and a decision to make and you can donate, yes, donate. Don't donate to a narcissistic, self-indulgent, sociopath and pathological liar as in our former president, our current, yet to be soon to be former president, Donald Trump, or for the initiatives that he's trying to do, which are all about his own interests. You know what I'm saying? We got people that we could take care of. I don't want to hear about you being a real American unless you actually going to help show that love and that support to other real Americans who might need it. And right now, going out here and spending money frivolously on an election that you lost, fair and square for the most part. I'm not saying I always trust the electoral process. I'm not saying that our system can't be improved and that it isn't where it needs to be. But what I'm saying is that based upon the rules that we do know and the way things have been going as of right now, you lost that election. Stop feeding this goddamn insane circus and shit show that is going on and allowing it and enabling this damn shit show to continue. Because this is some bullshit. Help each other out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stop feeding this idiotic, egregious circus act.
Well, the Democrats had a bunch of people from China come over and vote for Biden. Obama went home and got his family, told him to get together and make up these ballots so Biden can get in there. Can you believe this?
Obama had his family vote. They did absentee from where they were from and born in Africa. I'm still waiting for that birth certificate.
I shit on myself.
Well, that is our show, my friends. Appreciate y'all for coming on, Mike. Appreciate having you, man. Any final words you'd like to say to our fans out there and before we depart?
Stay black.
Omar Epps in the program. He also said the exact words, stay black. You're looking for a good movie to watch this winter break? Program.
Yeah, I'll go off mic too. I need all my white women to stay black too.
Beautiful white woman, stay black.
White woman.
And I'm gonna go off what Mike said. If you guys want to see a brother that had so much potential that I thought was a better actor than he really was when I was younger, just go ahead and watch any movie Mekhi Phifer was in and just focus on his role.
Pfeiffer, man.
I like Mekhi Phifer.
I did Mekhi Phifer too.
I did too. But when I look back at his career,
he ain't great. He ain't bad.
He was on ER and then he committed suicide. Then he was on Shaft and he got hit over the head by Christian Bale, American Psycho. And then he was in 8 Mile and he had dreads that we know wasn't dreads. So Mekhi Phifer, bro, stay black.
My boy Mekhi Phifer, don't forget, he was in one of the first HBO movies I ever seen where. Oh no, that was Cuba Gooding. Nope, sorry, Mekhi. That wasn't you.
Yeah, exactly.
I just realized that was Cuba Gooding. That wasn't Mekhi.
So the crazy part is that he was in ER, right? And he was one of the residents. He was like a young doctor, and was Eric LaSalle was being hella hard on him. And one night, they killed his character off, and he had been run over by a train or something like that, and they're like, yeah, they think he jumped and killed himself. I was like, what?
They really killed us.
I was like, that's the worst way to a brother would just jump into come on, bruh.
Okay, which way did killing off a black man in the series works? Mekhi Phifer or Isaac Hayes on South Park?
Oh, well, Isaac Hayes was tough because he died shortly after they killed his character off.
Exactly.
Hey, did Mekhi Phifer character kill himself in Tuskegee Airmen? He did something wrong, so they were gonna take away his. No. He did something wrong. They were gonna take away his stripes. So he hopped in the plane and just fucking killed himself.
Oh, I thought that was the courageous part. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
No, it wasn't Mekhi Phifer character. You're right. It was the what's his name? The black guy that was G Money. It was the G Money character that killed himself.
Well, shout out to Mekhi Phifer, man. You had a budding career. I was rooting for you, and then you just kept getting roles that were just when I look back on him now, I'm like, that was fucked up roles.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm trying to see it started off good. He was in Clockers.
You got to secure the bag some kind of way.
I guess.
He was then he went high school high, but then he was in Soul Food, right? So you're like, oh, okay, he's growing. Then he was in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. He was Brandy's boyfriend, remember?
He died.
Did he die in that?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I ain't seen it. I only saw it once. Then that remade Brian song. Yeah, okay, maybe you're right about Mekhi Phifer. I'm looking at this. I was like,
Dude, I was looking at it like earlier this week, and I was like, man, Mekhi Phifer, like he was like kind of big in my scope of like understanding black actors at the time. And I look back on it, I was like, he never like lasted in any role, and he never had like the main role. I was always rooting for him though.
Did he count his roles in music videos? He's in a crap load of music videos.
Oh yeah, Chasing Waterfalls.
My man was in Many Men by 50 Cent. The Boy Is Mine. Remember Monica and Brandy?
Oh yeah, that was the highlight of his acting career. Is that he's being fought over by Brandy and Monica. I'll take that.
Not about that. He sure was.
I be dribbling the ball more than you need to in handball just because I got baller skills like that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be able to cross the fools over, use my quickness, and I got an arm because, I play a little baseball too. So, I know how to snap that ball. Man, I can be tight at handball. But otherwise, let me get my Cuba Gooding Jr. on and be a Sled Dogs Part 5. Did y'all ever know? Did you ever know I used to do Negro Olympics with some of my friends?
Oh boy, what did you guys do in this? Exactly.
It was before parkour was parkour. We was doing the Negro Olympics. We was except we wasn't doing the heights of parkour that some parkour people were doing. But we was doing like all kinds of stuff, like jumping railings, jumping fences, and stuff like that. It was fun.
And so, how much drugs was in your system when you guys did this?
I broke my pipe playing it, so. So that's a clue. That's a clue. I had a nice glass pipe that it was a nice 30 glass pipe, and I was in a hoodie and I was zigzagging, cutting through some railings. But there's like railings that were probably like up to about like my mid belly, so you had to like creep low and cut. And I was just zooming, and it flipped out the pocket and went flying like 5 feet out my pocket and smashed. That was really sad. That was a sad day. Sad day in my life. That was a sign.
You know what was sadder? What was sadder was the fact, Jarrett, that you guys had too much time on your hand at Davis, and you probably continued after Davis, but you had too much time on your hands at Davis, man. I feel like if I had a time machine, I'll go back and just start writing. Hey, look, man, these are things you could do instead of sitting around making up domino rules, having the Negro Olympics where you're jumping over fences for no damn reason.
Bro, we was inspired by John Slade.
I guess so. Joanna Barclaso, that's her name, Jared. Snow Dog. She was a Canadian Filipino.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised you didn't know the name off the top of your head.
I didn't know. I mean, I remember her, and I remember she was in like what was that movie with Anthony Edwards, Baby Mama or whatever, Baby Daddy or something. When it was him and like 2 other people, and they were like taking care of the babies. They wives went to work. She was Anthony Edwards' baby mama.
Oh,
so I remember she wasn't big enough. Yeah, I mean, I just didn't remember her name. She wasn't big enough. She was a model back in the day.
Okay, well, shoot.
Sometimes I don't always remember names. I remember a face before I remember a name.
Remember faces and fingers.
Come on.
She had an extra finger.
Those are things that you notice. You would notice if someone you talk to, a woman you interested in.
You never met her, Aaron.
Think she good looking. If you think I'm changing, you see how I'm changing it. I keep changing. So you just look up and you're like, oh, she good looking. And you read, oh, she had an extra finger. That will stick with you.
You got to hit an Uncle Ruckus clip just for
Uncle Ruckus. Good morning, Robert.
First of all, white man, let me say that I love you, honor you, envy you, enjoy your smell, and I celebrate you in the name of white Jesus.